It's a pile of bulls.
So I was digging around the old hard drives when I discovered that, hey, I still have a copy of Pillars of Eternity. I'll play that.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master
hmm
glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course.
Okay.
A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know.
Okay.
The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them,
Okay.
where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start.
Mhm.
You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf.
Oof, an entire caravan has
Pulls
to
up
stop
just
because
in
of
time
me.
to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
Okay, so I get sick on the way to some new lands. Well, I mean, it's a kind of a good thing that the trunk was on the way because I'd feel pretty bad if an entire caravan had to stop because I didn't know how to travel. So, this game is essentially made in a similar vein to like Baldur's Gate. And while I do have a little bit of experience playing Baldur's Gate, it was a long, long time ago. In fact, I'm surprised I was able to play those games as young as I was able to. But I actually watched Angry's Pat play just an absolute ton of this game in particular, and it was just so interesting to see. Um, it made me glad that games like this were still being made because they do require a lot of patience and it is a lot of reading. But I don't know, I was enamored with the world building and all of the characters and the way that you interact with the world and those characters that I went and I picked it up for myself. And then I didn't play it because I was watching Pat play it. Um, +2 to athletics, +1 to lore. Accuracy, average, deflection. Okay. Okay. So I'm not about to sit here and pretend that I'm building uh, a meta godlike because I'm totally not. I'm just kind of clicking through. As a matter of fact, give me just a moment while I get this part done. Okay, character creation is complete. I made a godlike paladin. So the caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red mustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
Okay, he nods towards a looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who'd be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
Okay.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards. Unless you don't drink water, of course. Which case you'll be dead in a day.
Okay.
There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry. About the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
Cool.
I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Nods in my direction. Okay, where would I
Grow
find
on
these
a bush
berries?
that's common round here, kind of funny looking. You'll know it when you see it. Doubt you'd have to go far off the road to find one.
What are these
Nothing you won't
ruins?
see on half the hills of Air Glonfoth. Money to be made selling their knickknacks in Defiance Bay, if you don't mind getting stuck with Glonfoth and arrows now and again. They didn't build them, but I'll be the effigy if they don't watch them like a mother bear. Of course, all the ones around here have been ransacked 10 times over. Got nothing left worth half a pond. So, I'm here.
As I converse, right, different attributes will activate during the conversation, triggering different responses and further conversation. Not only that, this game does something really interesting where different terms and things will get highlighted and underlined that you can mouse over and get a more detailed explanation or refer back to whatever else they're talking about.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
He's nice.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
She needs to find some spring berries.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Okay. So what I do is I want to actually talk to him. By clicking the selection circle. Interact with them by clicking on their selection circle.
Go on
You heard the
then,
man.
before it
Let's
gets
get
too
going
dark.
before you keel over.
Okay.
Go on then, before it gets too dark.
I wanted to ask what a biawak is, but I know. Biawak is some sort of like
Anyone need supplies? I've
windy,
got sundries for sale.
windy, ghostly thing that like steals your soul or something. So I'm looking for berries. I believe these are them. No, further. Said I shouldn't have to go too far for them, but... Ah, these done? Burned lady. It's not them.
Let's check by those outcroppings.
Okay. Pillars of Eternity combat. So, again, I'm not the most knowledgeable person when it comes to this game and its mechanics. But I'm confident enough that I can kill a wolf.
This is it.
You look like you've seen your fair share of action. What'd you do before you came out here? I was an adventurer. Got into a bar fight. Had my fill of it. Time to lead a quieter life. Been a long time since I've been this way, but I always did like it. Lord Redrick's offer makes a girl think. I'll give him that. You here to settle like the rest of the lot? Hadn't given it much thought. No harm in that. Might as well see the place first. So you must have some other plan in mind for coming this way. Looking for love. Anyway, I'm wasting time here. Odemo will give me an earful. Let's be on our way. What are you here? My sister moved out here some time back and sent me a letter. She seemed worried, but that's how she always is. This time, though, she asked me to come out, and that's got me a little worried. I haven't seen her in ages. Been doing guide work in Ixmatil. Ixamato? Would I do anything for her? Much better woman than me, so I'm here, and we'll see. Alright, well, let's get going back to camp. Sorry about your sister, by the way. Seriously. Just take all.
Indeed.
Now, the big thing about this is obviously the dialogue. Large portions of it are voice acted, but for the most part you are more than likely going to have to do some reading. But I assure you that if you're the type of person who's in the mix for a good story, something akin to like a D&D campaign, minus all of the social awkwardness, social tension that comes along with playing with other people, then you'll get quite a kick out of this game, and its primary story, all of its sub-stories, and the way it ends is absolutely something
Still
else.
waiting on Sparfell, which means he's ignored me again. If I'd known he wanted to slow us down, I'd have just tied him to the back of the wagon and dragged him. I'm sorry, you want your water, you better go find him. He's got all the skins.
Shit, come on, let's go look for him.
Alright, we're off to look for this clown. He's got the water though, so I know that he's probably over here. Where you would be if you wanted to fill the water. As I'm sure
What
you
a
can.
surprise, Sparfell went hunting. At least he left the water skins. Come on.
You crouch at the riverbank and dip your water skins into the cool water, while Kaliska waits nearby. Keeping watch as you rise, you notice her look sharply towards the tree line. Out of the trees emerges Sparfell, one of the guides, barely discernible in the dim moonlight. He no longer carries his bow, and there's a straggedness to his gait, a spastic wobble in his ordinarily deft stride as he moves toward you with labored breath.
Sparfell? Are you alright?
Sparfell's toe catches on a rock and he collapses forward in a heap, the feathered shaft of an arrow planted between his shoulders like an enemy flag.
Ambush!
Okay, so I'm going to focus on the one on you. It was a bad move. I didn't think about the bow. So you'll see in the bottom left corner, as we take damage, our portraits get red. That's because I suck at what I do.
Come on, we have to get back to camp.
Not before I take all of their stuff. Alright, let's go. Obviously, you can pause the game with spacebar. Pretty much, if you're familiar with these sort of top-down RPGs, you'll know the basic controls. Attack. But one thing that even I don't remember how to do, and that would be how to do skills. Ah, there it is. It appears that I can't. Weapon sets. Flames of Devotion. There we go. So right now I'm taking the most damage.
Indeed. Certainly.
But you do kind of heal after each encounter, but it takes away from your stamina, which I guess refreshes at the end of it's your endurance. Sorry, your endurance. Alright, all around you lie the massacred remains of the other travelers. peppered with arrows and knife hilts, splayed and bug-eyed, and filthy on blood-damp earth. Calliska puts the back of her left hand to her mouth, as if to ward away the horror like a poisonous vapor. A handful of dark figures stand above the fallen. And on your arms, trespasser, do not forfeit this man's life for a fight. Okay. So they had a hostage, and I have options. So I'm gonna go with lore. Words carry no weight when I have seen the truth with my own eyes. Blood must be paid for this intrusion. Lay down your arms. Okay. It didn't really work. I don't want to... My might is pretty powerful, so we're gonna go with might. He shoves towards you as you touch the other man, rakes his blade across his torso. Alright. So I failed. Saves coming. That's an important portion of these sorts of games.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
So, one of the lessons that I just reminded myself of is that quick saving is very, very important in these games in case you don't want to do it, you don't want to save scum too much to the point where you ruin the experience for yourself, but there are certain outcomes that are so bad that it's like, yeah, you're going to want to run that back. So, I tried might, it didn't work. I'm going to try intellect. Okay. There is apparently... Let me see. I checked this too. Okay, it's F8. So, I'm determined to try and get this guy into the party without
Indeed.
him taking that critical hit. Okay, so the man frowns and motions his winches, but the blow never comes. Of course, but he would not. So, because insistence. Okay, so basically we're using his knowledge of his people to make him realize that this isn't the way to do. Okay, so we got this guy here, Hyodan.
How can I
And
help?
basically what we're
What you
gonna
need?
do is have him go there, make sure
What you
that
need?
I want to make sure that we have the targets just right.
Yes.
Okay.
Finish them!
Hyodan, fall back, fall back. Here we go. Okay, so he wasn't gravely injured, which means that he'll be way more useful in combat moving forward, and that's important. Okay, the wind begins to swell. Be a whack. Slashed across his chest, Odema's body stirs.
Get inside! Run!
That's what a biwak is. It's like a storm that steals the souls from people. Treading against the gale that threatens to pull you off your feet with every step, you get your hands in the worn folds of weathered rock, set about pulling yourself up the precipice. Head-on trails, slowed by injury and delayed by early hesitation. As he nears the face of the rock, one of the fallen attackers who had been feigning death lunges and topples him on the rocky ground. Restraining Heodon, I'm gonna throw my weapon at him. Luckily we didn't hit Theodon. We all managed to get inside. Good. The entrance is caved in behind us.
A Bewick. Had to be.
Then we're lucky to be alive.
And we're the only ones.
We can't stay here. There could be another collapse. We're not getting out that way anyway. Let's get further inside.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe I lost a weapon, is that right? I did lose a weapon. But that's okay. I'll replace it relatively easily.
Yes.
So, throwing that weapon to save, what's-his-face,
I shall.
actually took the weapon. I didn't get it back. So, we have to explore these ruins and hope that there's another way out.
That should be far enough. But what now?
We look for another way out. Storm has to die sometime.
Okay, so I'm going to cut here and get to the juicy part of this, okay? So, inside of these ruins, if you don't manage to save Heodon without him getting gravely injured, he actually really starts to complain and wants to rest. And you get in an argument with Kaliska about whether or not you should stay or move on. But I was able to get some camping supplies and basically restore my health and endurance without any sort of argument because he's okay. So, to really drive home the fact that what actually, like the small minor details of what happens in these encounters is important, those sort of minor details are really what you need. A kobold. A trembling, sickly creature emerges from the dark, clutching a spear, knobby elbows and thin ribs. Raise your arms and stand still. The creature sniffs around you, finds nothing of interest, and steps back and resumes its defensive posture. Slowly back away. The Zarab watches wearily as you go. Okay. Let's go this way. So, I can do one of two things. I can either take this route here, or
They'll never know I'm here.
go into stealth mode and see if we can sneak up on it. Okay. Scouting mode is used for both stealth and for finding hidden items. While scouting, your character selection circles will start to flicker yellow. Okay. So, this guy is good at stealth. So I'm going to have him attack. Didn't work. Okay, so it's a good idea to always have the person who's best at stealth go in by himself. This is a lesson that I have learned just now to pass on to you. Okay, so this one's a much better weapon, so I will attempt to put that there. Excellent. Okay. Probably going to be some repercussions to killing
Wait,
that one.
do you hear that?
No, I don't. Scouting. So I'm basically, you want to, I want to use the one with the best stealth to kind of peek around. Okay, so I'd much rather go this way.
Those
This
tiles
game.
look suspicious. Let's be careful.
Oh,
Is there an inspection?
indeed.
Okay. So
Yes, indeed.
we have our first little dungeon puzzle here. Let's see if we can't find
can I help?
out what the deal is with these.
Those symbols. Just like the tiles.
Okay, so because I am a fire godlike, I can actually light these on fire.
Hmm?
Indeed.
So normally you would probably need an item like a torch or something, but because my hair is on fire constantly, got away with it.
Oh, I shall.
Okay.
How can I help? Be quiet.
Scout the next room. Oozes. Okay, so I think that we can have him return. She had mentioned symbols.
I shall.
Ah, here we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and save here, but I'm curious. That's what I figured. I just wanted to see if the auto-pathing was good enough to, Okay, so she's
What you need?
closest. To make them take the safe route to go through this puzzle. I was just curious, though.
Do you feel that? There's a draft
Yes,
coming through that
indeed.
wall. I don't hear any sign of that storm either. How can I help?
So I guess this is a little annoying, that if you come across a puzzle that requires precision movement, you'll have to manually do the entire party, or
Certainly.
risk one of them setting off a trap as you move them in a group. These are just basic spiders, no big deal. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. Taking a significant amount of damage. But we
I
scored a
shall.
crit.
Indeed.
Okay, so this video is actually starting to go on for quite a bit. So let's just get to
Oh.
the meat,
Indeed.
and we can finally get to the meat and potatoes about what this game's core is about. Four figures stand silhouetted before you, an otherworldly apparatus and an ancient structure of chiseled adra and metallic veins. The face of one of the figures is distantly visible, framed by long tendrils of oily gray hair.
Oathbinder, bear witness, and see this man has kept his word true to his last breath, full to his blood's last drop. Guide his soul, queen that was, and regard it among your favored. Let his life by the key be his confession. Let his death by the key be his absolution. May he walk the world ever free of the crushing weight of the book. Your brother has done his part, and you have seen the power of his contribution. I will accept no further hesitation from the rest of you. In the sight of the queen that was, will you fulfill the oath? Will you take your place beside your brother in the endless esteem of her memory that is without flaw? Step forth and be assured of the great worth of your life's course.
Okay. So the entire premise so far is where we were traveling. We got ambushed by some, basically Neanderthals, chased into ruins by a soul storm, and now we come across this. For an instant, the apparatus goes quiet, the air stills, then all at once it erupts with a concussive surge. Light floods your vision and you are knocked to the ground. Your head snaps back as you land, and pain swells into the back of your skull, washing your last thoughts away into the black unconscious void. You open your eyes to a different place. Another time. You stand in a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with adra and trimmed with copper. The style is ancient, but the chamber is unweathered. At the far end of a great pillar of adra pierces the floor from below like a ragged spike, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. Encircling the pillar is an apparatus much like the one you have just seen, but immense and multifaceted, and intertwined, the work perhaps of a prodigious but fevered mind. Your thoughts are yours and not yours, and they seem to exist before you. Think them, and they are all questions. Pressing questions, troubling questions, questions that must be answered or... At the base of the pillar now, you see a man with a thick gray beard and ceremonial robes. His oily hair tucked beneath a black cowl and strange ornamental headdress. You know this man. You're walking towards him now at a pace that is hurried while trying not to appear so. You have something you want to ask him, one question above all, and the question spins madly in your mind. What the heck was that? You awaken and find your malaise has been broken, only to be replaced with something far more concerning. Faint whispers are audible at the edge of your hearing, like a ringing in your ears that does not subside. The figures of the machine frozen in place, flesh and blood replaced by cinders and ash. The man who led them is nowhere to be seen. Heodon and Kaliska lie bloody on the uneven cobbles, their bodies twisted unnaturally in death. You are alone and far from help. Gilded Veil may be your best hope of receiving treatment before things get worse. Without spoiling too much of the game, what has more or less just occurred is you kind of accidentally tripped into a magical ritual that you weren't supposed to be a part of. And the entire game is more or less you trying to figure out what it was and how you fix it and get yourself out of the situation. That is more or less the overall plot of Pillars of Eternity. It is a really, really fun and interesting world that is loaded with text, but I do highly, highly recommend that you check it out if you're into this sort of story-heavy game. Anyway, it was a change of pace. I'm probably going to play just a teensy tiny little bit more of it on my own time. Let me know what you think about Pillars of Eternity down in the comments below, and let me know what you think about story-central games that aren't Final Fantasy or JRPGs down below, because they're Western RPGs that have quite a bit of charm to them, and they don't often get the spotlight that they deserve. So I'd appreciate, a little bit of discussion about them and ways that they do things better and things that they could improve on. But anyway, that's this video. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in another one.